Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day wherever you are. And today we have interesting news in the crypto space, and of course the market is in the green, right? With Bitcoin up 5% at the time of recording. So that's great news, but let's just dive into it. The first one is time to consider crypto, says pension and endowment advisor. Now, this news came out in Bloomberg yesterday, February 18th. It says institutional investors should consider dipping their toes into cryptocurrencies, according to Cambridge Associates, a consultant for pensions and endowments fund. Despite the challenges, we believe that it is worthwhile for investors to begin exploring this area today with an eye toward the long term, said analysts at Boston-based Cambridge in a research note published Monday. Though these investments entail a high degree of risk, some may very well upend the digital world. For those prepared to take the plunge, Cambridge recommends a considerable amount of time learning about the space, including surveying the different ways of investing, from illiquid venture capital funds to buying tokens on an exchange. The firm advises institutions that manage more than $300 billion. Now, this is major news, and the fact that it appears in Bloomberg, such mainstream publishing, I deem it right. Could this be the one of the key driver driving up crypto market as a whole, right? Now, why is this key? Because now, after just like 1 week after the first two pension funds in Virginia, right, Fairfax County, invested in cryptocurrencies, right, by investing in Morgan Creek's fund, now you have a consultant to a specialized consultant to pensions and endowment actually coming out in Bloomberg being very positive and asking very explicitly that institutional investors must consider dipping their toes into cryptocurrencies, right? Now, the key word here is this, dipping toes, right? So doesn't mean asking them to invest everything, but asking them to try. Try means, right, 1% maybe, or less than 1%, or close to 1% of their holdings now. But for these big institutions, right, pensions, endowments, their 1% is still a lot. And if a lot of them were to come into crypto, this will really spark the rally we much needed, right? After the first rally that is mainly led by retail investors, the second rally need to be led by institutions, yeah? And as I have said also before, right, that once any institution took the plunge, which is Fairfax County last week, now there will be more and more following, and this seems to be another trigger for more and more new pension funds. And the fact that it is a specialized consultants, right, for pension and endowments saying this in such a mainstream news, Bloomberg is read by a lot of institutional investors, the managers asset managers who look after all this big institutions' money. They read Bloomberg, yeah. So the fact that it is published in Bloomberg and by a specialized consultant targeting pension funds, it is very, very significant, right? Yeah. So it is just a matter of time, right, before you hear the next news again of another pension funds investing, and then it may just start that domino effect, and we may just start off another rally very soon. And of course, with BACT coming in later this year, and then Aries X also, again, a lot of big names who include Fidelity, Nasdaq, who are invested behind them, offering their own crypto exchange services. So you're definitely going to see a lot of Wall Street names coming into this space, right? That's really my opinion. Next, you have CFTC Commissioner Brian Quintes suggests creation of crypto self-regulatory organization. So U.S. Commodity and Futures Trading Commission Commissioner Brian Quintes has suggested that participants in the cryptocurrency industry should create a self-regulatory structure. And he said this during a bipartisan policy center panel held on February 12. Now, he said that because of the CFTC's lack of crypto statutory oversight capability, he suggested that crypto platforms come together to form some type of self-regulatory structure where they can discuss, agree to, implement, and hopefully examine or audit, right? Now, this is key because you have someone who is very key government official in the US, right, coming out to say that crypto industry itself should self-regulate. That means, right, this could mean that this could be one of the stance that the government in US want to take, which means light regulation, just as how they have light regulation on the internet years ago, right? 1994, 1995, and that has actually spurred off a lot of the innovation of the internet. And if they can adopt the same stance now with crypto, that will be great, because if they were to take a very light hands-off approach, right, but just make sure that this is not harmful for the industry, but rather the industry self-regulate themselves, whereas the regulators still will take oversight approach, but not heavy-handed regulations, that will be just a perfect blend. Then, because also government, they do not know enough about cryptocurrency to regulate this space fast enough, to spur the innovation. So the model of a self-regulation by the industry will be just a perfect way. And in fact, this model has been undertaken in Korea and Japan already, right? The players there, they self-regulate themselves because, and the government is actually a bit slow, and naturally because the tech talents are in the private pool, right? They're not employed by the governments. And you have also see, right, that the government asking for public feedback on educate them on Ethereum. So that shows you, right, that perhaps this is the stance that the US government is going to take, light regulations with heavy self-regulation on the front of the industry players. And this will be really, really good news, right? But that also means that the companies or the projects with a lot of professionals, developer or professional management team behind them will be the one that will basically be the one that thrive, that will succeed more than the rest. So definitely you will see, like, especially those with Wall Street names like BACT, like ArisX, they are the ones who definitely going to succeed more, right? Next, Iran's national cryptocurrency could be based on the Stellar Lumens network. Now, Iran's plans to launch a national cryptocurrency continue to move forward. Just a few weeks after lifting the ban on Bitcoin and other digital currencies, the country announced the launch of Paymon, a local digital currency that's backed by national gold reserves. And apparently the token will be used to avoid financial sanctions imposed by Western countries to the country, specifically from the US. And during an interview with the Russian news outlet Sputnik, the blockchain specialist Hamid Reza Shabani explained that the cryptocurrency has been developed on top of the Stellar network. Individuals and companies in the country will be able to use the digital asset in order to give the digital asset some value. He explained that the virtual currency will be backed by gold reserves of the country. However, the information regarding the details and implementations have not yet been confirmed. But before using it, users will have to complete a Know Your Customer check. The main intention is to combat money laundering and also terrorism financing. There are several regulatory agencies all over the world that are regulating the market with increased KYC and AML policies. Now, this is again a really good news for cryptocurrency as a whole, because now Iran, this is, though this news is not confirmed, right? But this news has actually been told by blockchain specialists to the Russian news outlet Sputnik. We just need to confirm this news, and then if this news is confirmed, it is really great. First, the currency is built on top of a Stellar network. So it is a non-profit organization, it is a decentralized network. So that is great. That's one. So, and also it supports the public chain of cryptocurrency. Second, this cryptocurrency, although it's backed by the government, they are backed by national gold reserves, and that is cool because it is a hard asset, right? And you cannot just inflate it anyhow, yeah? And why did they want to do this? Because of US sanctions. So this is exactly the use cases which a lot of the Bitcoin maximalists and crypto supporters are saying as one of the fundamental use case of cryptocurrencies because you cannot censor cryptocurrency. And exactly this kind of censorship, sanctions by the US, are driving countries like Iran to adopt a cryptocurrency. And that is why it is so cool. But we just need more details to be released, more confirmation. Then this is really one of those great news, right? In addition to last few days, we have two countries trading very small amount, $7,000 just of agricultural products using Bitcoin. So every day now, increasingly, you know, it's like they are so close. The positives are so close to each other, right? That it is hard to contain really the excitement. I don't know. I mean, I really am very excited by all this. I don't know whether you feel it, right? I hope you do. But I hope you also understand the significance of all this, that things can happen very fast just under our noses. And before you know it, right, already countries are big nations, government states are already using cryptocurrencies, right? So yeah, this is really, really cool, right? And we are really, really going to mainstream very, very soon, right? Next, Blockstream publishes Schnorr-based test code for Bitcoin blockchain upgrade. This is another very significant news. The Schnorr-based multi-signature scheme Multisig, a test code for a potential upgrade to the Bitcoin blockchain, has been released by the blockchain tech firm Blockstream. Last January, 4 Bitcoin developers released a paper outlining how Schnorr multi-signatures Multisig could help scale the Bitcoin blockchain, saying that the technology could reduce its transaction size and improve both performance and user privacy in Bitcoin. In the paper, the developers state that Multisig is designed as a protocol that allows a group of signers to produce a short joint signature on a common message. Today's announcement reveals that Multisig has been turned from an idea into a usable code. While this week the code was also merged with SCP-256K1-ZKP, a fork of SCP-251K1, representing the high assurance cryptographic library used by Bitcoin Code. Now, this is really, really key because multi-signature is one of those features that Bitcoin developers have been saying for a long time, for years, for a few years now, that they are working on this, right? The idea behind this is really to scale up Bitcoin transactions even more because, as you know, now it's only 7 transactions per second, and Lightning Network already in its beta testing stage is also one of those features that is increasing the scaling. That means increasing the transaction speed of Bitcoin. Now, multi-signatures is another such feature that will increase its transaction speed by segregating the signature, which takes up a lot of space, and the transaction size, transaction amount, right? Sender recipient address in a separate address. And by separating that, right, it basically speed up the transaction much faster. That's basically what it is. And now, from idea, because they have been talking about it in a few years now it's finally able to, the test code is finally ready and they're added to their code library. And then basically now that means the other developers can now review the code, right? Can do testing on it and basically to identify any bugs. And for, it will be important for as many talent as possible, as many developers as possible to review, to check the codes, because it is best to review and test and find and identify the bugs early so that it can be removed, it can be rectified before then, you can quickly roll it out to mainnet. And that is very, very key. So this is another one of those very, very key milestone in the history of Bitcoin, yeah? Next, major Omani bank joins Ripple-Net cross-border payment network. Oman's second largest bank by market value, Bank Dhofar, has begun using Ripple-Net technology for cross-border payments to India. And Bank Dhofar, the second largest bank, has now become the first bank in the country and one of the first in the region to adopt Ripple-Net, right? And this is really cool because, again, you are seeing huge adoption of Ripple every now and then. Almost every other day, they are coming out with great news of who are adopting their technology, and it is normally the major banks in key countries, yeah? Next, Ripple's partnership with IIT Bombay will help tackle some of today's global remittance-related issues. Now, again, Ripple have already sponsored a lot of blockchain scholarship to a lot of major universities around the world, including Singapore, China, Thailand, and so forth. Now they are also getting their foot into India. And the latest partnership is with Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, a very, very prominent university in India, right? And the key is they just want to actually they want to groom the next generation to be very well versed in the blockchain technology. And that's really, really good, right? That Ripple is doing such an initiative. And also, of course, it is giving a lot of publicity and goodwill, good reputation, right, to the brand of Ripple and XRP. Next, moving on, owner of Indeed and Glassdoor job search engines invest in privacy coin project Beam. Japanese employment information services company Recruit Company Limited has invested in a blockchain-focused company Beam Development Limited. So Recruit has invested in Israeli blockchain startup Beam, and it is not clear exactly how much was the investment amount, but this is through their a fund that is total $25 million, right? And Beam, remember, it is a very new project, and it is a privacy coin that is developed by non-profit organizations. Not non-profit, this voluntary developers who are just keen to develop something great, right? And not by any for-profit company. So that's why it is important for them to get funding from outside because they don't have an ICO, right? So that's why they need funding from outside. And this is one of those. So Japan Fund is one of those funding them now. This is really good because to scale, right? To scale up to really expand the project to real use cases, you really need funding. Yeah. Moving on, Binance Academy, third most popular service. So cryptocurrency exchange Binance Education Portal has reached the top 3 most popular products on Y Combinator backed exposure platform Product Hunt. And who are the second and who are the first two? Who are the other two websites that got the second ranking? They are trading tool Robinhood and statistics and passive income generator Earn.com. Now, Binance, again, very good news for Binance because it just seems that every other day, despite being just 18 months old baby, Binance is really doing the right thing. Yeah. And this education portal is definitely not making money for Binance, at least in the short term, right? They are just publishing a lot of educational materials for targeting the people who are new to the space of crypto or people who are not yet invested in crypto, so that, right, they get educated, and then if they're interested, then the first thing that they can think of, right, they can use Binance. So that is the way Binance CEO is thinking about how the education portal is used, and they're definitely doing great job because now it is ranked by Product Hunt as the third most popular products. So yeah, that is really, really great news, right, for Binance and of course for the industry as a whole as well, because a lot of people, like just now you saw, right, the pension fund consultant are basically saying for institutions, first thing they need to do is get themselves educated, and that is exactly what the industry need now. And so if anyone is offering education, crypto education targeting institutions, that is definitely another big market. Moving on, we have alleged Bitcoin mining scam reported in Thailand. So there are, 30 people have filed a complaint with the police of Thailand, stating that they were fooled into an alleged investment scam called cryptomining.farm. This reportedly led to the loss of 42 million baht, which is $1.34 million, right? And they suspect that a total of 140 individuals were affected by the scam. So cryptomining.farm, which has offices registered in both Bangkok and Chiang Mai, supposedly promised investors an annual return of 70%, in addition to the option to withdraw their funds at any time with no conditions. The Bitcoin mining contracts offered by the company reportedly ranged from 6 months to a lifetime. Now, this is really, really key, right? And anytime when you hear people or anything that says guarantee, promising a return or such attractive returns, right? It is definitely too good to be true. No one can guarantee anything. No one can know for sure when or how will the crypto market react in tomorrow, in today, in next 10 years, in next 1 year, right? No one knows. Even the traditional stock market also no one knows. Generally more safe than crypto, no one knows as well. No one has that crystal ball. And so if you hear any investment vehicle, any fund offering you a promised or a guaranteed returns of any kind, stay away, right? And next, also similar in India as well, they have arrested cash coin gang accused of scamming millions from investors. So 4 people have been arrested in relation to the scam, which saw India investors swindled out of nearly $14 million. Now, this is huge, where Thailand case is only 1 million, this is 14 million, 1-4, right? And similarly, the accused held meetings in Mumbai, Surat, and other parts of Gujarat and lured people into investing their hard-earned money by promising to double the returns in 2 months, right? So 100% return. Initially, the gang repaid a few investors to lure more people in and then defaulted. Their intention was to cheat. So again, anytime you see promising to double is like 100%. That in 2 months, that's really, really, really too good to be true, right? So yeah, please be very, very vigilant. And if you're reading this, if you are watching this, listening to this, you really need to pass this message around. Moving on, Tim Draper predicts crypto will rule, only criminals will use cash in 5 years. So Tim Draper is a billionaire, venture capitalist, early investors in Tesla, right? In Facebook, in Skype, and he has always been a Bitcoin supporter and a crypto supporter as well. Already, this is not the first time he said this, and he already said, even last year he already said, 5 years later, if you are still not using crypto, if you're using cash to buy a coffee, people will laugh at you. He say things like that. And also now he say that only criminals will use cash in next 5 years. That means he really see that cryptocurrency will gain mainstream adoption within 5 years. Yeah. And who use cash? Because criminals. Because Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies can be tracked. So criminals, knowing that, they will have to go back to cash. Next, moving on, Bitmain announces energy-efficient ASIC chip for Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin Cash mining. Chinese mining giant and ASIC hardware producer Bitmain has announced its next generation 7nm nanometer ASIC mining chip. The new mining hardware BM1397 is designed for mining cryptocurrencies that use the SHA-256 algorithm for their proof of work, such as Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So what is so unique about this is because it requires less power for mining cryptocurrencies, and it represents a 28.6, almost 29% improvement in power efficiency in comparison with the company's previous 7nm chip. Now, this is interesting because that, Bitmain continue to innovate and coming up with even better products for the industry to continue to mine. So why is that good? Because you do need more normal people, right? People who don't have so much capital, because this use less power, so you can, much more affordable for people, normal people like you and me, to want to mine cryptocurrencies. We can also do it now with a cheaper and lower power consumption hardware. Yeah, and that is good because this can ensure that Bitcoin production and the Bitcoin blockchain can be much more decentralized, and this is very important. Last news, Coinbase supported Bitcoin debit card to shut operations in April. The Shift Bitcoin debit card, which allows US cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase users to spend Bitcoin using a Visa debit card, is reportedly shutting down its operations. The development was posted to Reddit on February 18th. Shift, which launched in November 2015, was one of the steadily increasing cohort of cryptocurrency debit cards, with multiple providers now issuing them in various countries. But now that they are deactivating starting April 11, 2019. Now, there's no official reason to say why Coinbase is discontinuing their debit card. This debit card is where you can spend using your cryptocurrency. But I think it's because they probably haven't marketed it well enough, so there's not a lot of users, and also there are a lot of competitors coming up, and they are very good ones. For example, MCO.com, which has already been is already live, meaning they're already issuing to their customers in Singapore and US, and people are actually using it now. I have one as well, and I can actually use cryptocurrencies, right? It comes with a mobile app as well. You can actually use your cryptocurrencies to actually buy coffee at McDonald's, just like that. And you can easily track your expenses via the app, and you know the exchange rate very immediately. And also how they grow their user base is through word of mouth or affiliate marketing. So if you have already a Crypto.com debit card, for you to actually then refer your friends to use it, right? You actually earn a commission in Crypto.com coins every time your friend buys crypto. And that is very, very interesting, right? And also every time that you spend your crypto, for me myself, if I spend my crypto, I get cash back as well in the form of Crypto.com token. So now if you don't want to keep that token, you can immediately redeem it for fiat, right? And if you refer to your friends because you really genuinely like this product, you refer to your friends, and if they buy crypto, you also get a cut. And that is why it is so cool. Then also you have competition like Wirex, right? Very, very famous company. So yeah, I think what happened was, they just lose out the competition, and on themselves, they probably are focusing on their more major offerings like their exchange, right? And going global is probably they want to focus on their core operations rather than a debit card. Yeah. So yes, and I hope you enjoy this. I hope you learned something. And if you like this, please subscribe and leave a like, leave a comment, right? Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. For all my subscribers, for all people who are watching and listening to this video, I really, really appreciate it. And God bless. Thank you.